Duane Duggan, Remax Boulder Video Podcast. Today we are in December, almost Christmas, so DB, our in-house statistician, has stats like through the end of November. We're going to be comparing them from November of last year to November of this year. DB, welcome. Thanks for keeping us informed on all this. So let's get started.
Okay. So as usual, we'll look at 10 different fields. Those would include the number of active listings, the median sales price, the average sales price to list price, days on market, the number of sales year to date. Again, is January through November. The number of expireds, months of inventory. So if no new listings came on, how long would it take to go through the present inventory? The percent under contract, and then 30-year fixed rate interest rate.
Okay, so we'll talk about single families first. Good place to start. Let's do it.
So the number of active listings is up slightly from a year ago, thankfully, but that's still only 631 listings as of the end of November. For all of Boulder County, that's very low historically, and of which 46% of those are under contract. So, effectively, we've got a little over 300 listings available. That equates to just 2.2 months of inventory. Typically, you want to see 5 to 7 months for a balanced market. So it's still showing that it's very much in the seller's favor. The appreciation rates have slowed slightly, which is good. As we've been talking about the last few months, we couldn't sustain what we had prior years. We're still up about 5%, both for median, which is currently $557,000 for a median priced home in Boulder County, and the average price is right about $685,000. Again, up about 5% from a year ago. Interest rates are still very low. 3.92% is what it is for a Freddie Mac 30-year fixed rate mortgage. That compares with 3.77% a year ago. But what's interesting is it's actually a little bit lower than it was 2 years ago, which was at 3.94%.
Right.
So the Feds did raise the cost of money by 0.25%, but everything that I've seen, that hasn't had any impact on the 30-year fixed rate mortgages.
Okay, and so it seems like things have mellowed out a little bit appreciation-wise, but what about like you had mentioned earlier about the last 2 years, how things have gone?
So if you were to look at what that 557,000 equates to from 2 years ago as an example, we're actually up almost 20% from 2 years ago, and both average and median. That's why we're talking about that it just was not sustainable with the appreciation that we've been having. And so 20% is obviously pretty high in a 2-year period, but just the last year being 5%.
Right. That's amazing.
It's much more handleable, and I think it definitely shows that we're no danger of having a bubble of any kind.
Right, and then again, that's in the county.
That is all
obviously
county.
Some of the local spots might have more, some of them might have less. So.
Absolutely.
Okay, why don't we dive into attached dwellings?
Okay, attached dwellings, we are starting to see the number of active listings accelerate, and I think that's good. And I say that, and yet the months of inventory, 1.6 months of inventory for an attached dwelling. Very, very low. 174 active listings compared with a year ago of 161. Not that dramatic. Compared with 2 years ago, we only had 96 listings at this time. So it's substantially higher than that, but 57% of that 174 is under contract. So again, it's effectively, around 85 active available listings.
Not much to really go look at when you jump in the realtor's car to drive around.
Exactly. The median price is about $352,000, and the average is a little bit over $402,000. Each of those is just slightly over 2% above where it was a year ago. If you look back to 2 years ago, that median price is up over 29%, and that average price is over 23.5% in that 2-year time period.
Okay.
So again, that appreciation has slowed substantially. I would say that is influenced by the number of permanently affordable townhomes that
Good
we've
point.
sold in the
Right.
city of Boulder, which is roughly twice as many this year over last year. And those are definitely below market rate. I think maybe the average price of a permanently affordable attached dwelling is like $190,000 as opposed to this 402.
Right. And that's one thing I'm hoping that you will help us out with in the new MLS system is to separate those out.
Yeah.
'Cause that would make our statistics a lot more meaningful.
Yeah. Again, showing the strength of the market, the sales price to list price for an attached dwelling is 100%. So typically you'll see 95 to 97%. There is not a lot of flexibility
Right.
on those prices. The number of sales year to date, we're up about 5% over a year ago, and that's somewhat reflective, I think, of the increased inventory.
Makes sense.
We thought we were moving more into a balanced market. At this point in time, we're still definitely favoring a seller.
What about your prediction for inventory levels in the spring? Think they're going to come on rapid pace, or because right now, looking at the daily update, there's not much coming on.
Yeah,
So.
I mean, I think it will increase slightly, but no, I don't think we're going to see that much more inventory. I do think that this new tax law is also going to put kind of a cold blanket on it, in that now you just had to live in a property 2 of the
Right.
last 5 years. Now that's going to go 5 of the last 8. So I think people are going to want to avoid having to be taxed on some of these gains, even though a long-term capital gain is at 15%.
Right.
But nevertheless, if you're a married couple and you can avoid paying taxes on $500,000 of gain, I think some people are going to be holding on a little
Right.
bit longer.
And not to get off on the tax reform topic too much, but that 250 and 500 exclusions, that was from I don't know how many years ago. That needs to be updated, and that hasn't happened in this
That's correct.
in this tax reform
That's
revision.
correct. Right.
So
Right. So, I think interest rates will maybe go up slightly next year. It will still be an awesome time to buy, assuming that you can find a house that suits your needs.
all right. Any last parting thoughts about the market?
No. If you're thinking of selling, obviously the inventory is still below historic norms substantially, and it would be a great time to sell it. As a buyer, I think that there will be more properties available. That being said, this time of year, there's not that many buyers out in the marketplace, and so, even though it's a limited number of listings available, it's a great time to be a buyer.
Right, because they're all at the 29th Street shopping mall based on the traffic right now. So they're not looking at houses. So.
Okay.
DB, thanks for updating us. Appreciate it.
Have a happy holiday.
You too. Duane Duggan, Remax Boulder Video Podcast, signing out.